And we're going to go to Jason Eslinger, our buddy from the Iowa Girls Athletic Union. How are you, Jace?
Just fine. How are you guys on this cold night?
We're staying warm with plenty of hot air between Tony and I in the studio, and Joe Stacy out there at Runnels. Hey, I'm still a little disappointed. We're neighbors, and you haven't come over. And usually, when you move into a neighborhood, they bring you cake, cookies, Tone.
Yeah.
But, I figured Jace would probably, whip up some brownies or something and walk on over. It's only, 4 blocks away, but nothing yet, Jason.
He's called every day.
All right, you guys are going to guilt me into it. Now I can definitely tell you're talking about hot air. I'm starting to feel that over here now. So.
Hey, Jace, you've been a busy man, and your staff's been busy over there because tonight, late this afternoon, the pairings for the 2011 Girls State Basketball Tournament run were announced in all 4 classes. And as we go through the next 4 weeks, we'll talk a little bit about some of the teams in each class to keep an eye on in the different regions. But first of all, the big news out of Cedar Rapids, because you know what? They deserve to keep it there. The volleyball tournament's been a long-standing tradition in Cedar Rapids, and with the renovations going on, Cedar Rapids still gets to keep the volleyball tournament next year.
Yeah, and that's a nice deal. I mean, we have a new location for 1 year only. We're going to be playing in the Cedar Rapids Ice Arena, our 2011 volleyball tournament, and just due to some construction work that's being done, they're building at Cedar Rapids Convention Complex, and due to that construction, the U.S. South Center is going to be kind of out of commission. They're going to do some renovations on that, and originally, as the plan was, the original idea was that we wouldn't miss any time in the Cellular Center, but now with the move, they've decided to move up the construction, and so we needed a temporary home, and Cedar Rapids really stepped up, and the ice arena is going to be it's going to be an intimate setting. Seats over 4,000 people, but with which should accommodate our crowds just fine. And from all accounts, I didn't go on the initial tour that a lot of our staff and Mike Dick, my boss, went on, but I know they came away very impressed, and I think it's going to be an exciting venue. I think it'll be loud, it'll be packed, and it should be a good atmosphere for volleyball.
Volleyball on ice sounds great, man.
Yep, well, we can do it. We tried the basketball a couple of years ago when the hockey team was in Des Moines at Wells Fargo. So I don't foresee any problems there. But it's a nice venue. The facility was built, and I think it was completed in January of 2000, and I think it's going to be a really fun venue. And Cedar Rapids has been such a great host for us. The tournament's been there since 1991, and obviously there's a lot of pieces in place down there. So it should be a pretty seamless transition it's for just 1 year.
We're talking to Jason Eslinger, the Sports Information Director of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. As we alluded to before, today the pairings for the 2011 Girls State Tournament postseason announced in all 4 classes. And tonight, Jason, I guess we're going to just begin with Class 4A, the big schools, and talk about the different regions and some of the teams to watch out there. And you look forward to that part?
Sounds great. And, a nice thing about, did you want to start with 4A today? Is that what you were thinking?
That'd be awesome if we could.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I think 4A, the one thing I think that's really come across this season, doing the rankings and following the stuff, following everything all year long, I think, your top-tier teams, that top 14 or 15 teams really have been pretty consistent throughout the year. And obviously when you're putting together brackets and trying to sort through the power and things like that, it's a difficult task. And Joe Oswald, our basketball administrator, has done a really nice job kind of separating everything. And did you want to just start with Region 1? Is that what you're thinking, Tony?
That'd be great, Jason. We
Okay.
can start there. And, I think you explained it perfectly, because when I looked at all 8 regions here in the 4A field, I think they're balanced out very well.
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
the teams that got the byes definitely deserve those byes.
Mm-hmm.
There may be a couple of teams on the other brackets that may be surprisable, but I think the teams that all got the byes are definitely the teams you're going to probably see one of those 2 at the state tournament in each of the regions.
I'm pretty confident of that too. I mean, usually there's always somebody that sneaks through you at times, but this year I think I think those teams with the byes definitely will be heavy favorites going into their first round games. And you look at Region 1, you've got the 10th ranked and the 12th ranked teams in 4A. Sioux City North ranked 10th on the top side of the bracket. Waukee is ranked 12th on the bottom side. state tournament regulars, and both teams playing really well. You've got some nice star power. Sioux City North with Brittany Donaldson and Laura Brewers playing well for a Waukee team. And I think I think Coach Chris Guest has got to be pretty happy with it after losing so many veterans from last year's state tournament team. They've got to be pretty happy with how they've played this year, and they're going to be just going to be that much. They're going to be a real team to watch out for in 2012 as well. I think on that Sioux City East has got on the first round bracket. They'll likely play Sioux City North, I think, in those semifinals, and they're a nice they're a nice ball club too. Who's going to come out of there? I think that's really kind of a toss-up, though.
I agree on the toss-up right there. And the other toss-up region, I think, is in Region 2, because both teams that I think have got the byes are the teams you're going to see there, and both have pulled off some pretty big surprises. Mason City knocked off Ankeny, giving the Hawkettes their first loss of the year, and of course Waterloo West handed Linn-Mar of Marion their first conference loss in a long time. I think it's like 39 straight games, and they put themselves in the map too. Mason City, Waterloo West, two teams coming out of Region 2 that'll be very, very tough.
I think so too, and again, they've got some good star power there. Jada Buckley from Mason City, from the 14th ranked Mohawks, obviously a great win for them on Tuesday night over Ankeny, and that's a good ball club. They only have their top 6 scorers, 5 of them are underclassmen. So I mean they're a team that's building for the future too. And of course you've got Waterloo West. Jaden Spencer's has had such a great athlete for the Warhawks, and they've obviously got the big win over Linn-Mar this year, and playing well. They survived as they had a squeaker tonight. Just beat a good Dubuque Wahlert team 46-45 today, but they're a 12-2 team and ranked 6th in 4A. So again, I think that's one of those real evenly matched, even matched potential potential regional finals.
As we quickly move through the regional pairings here from the girls, Iowa High School Girls Athletic Union, Southeast Polk and Iowa City High get the byes in Region 3, and both are playing great basketball. Those are two high-powered teams with a lot of talent.
Absolutely. Southeast Polk will have probably a potential tough semifinal against probably most likely West Des Moines Valley. Again, Southeast Polk has been one of the big surprises in 4A, playing just tremendous basketball. And again, another, like Mason City, another young team, and all underclassmen, I believe, on that squad. And then Iowa City High's got Virginia Johnson, the University of Iowa recruit. Two teams right now ranked 7th and 8th. And you've noticed we've gone through 3 regions. I haven't picked who I think is going to come out of there yet, because I'm not sure really. And again, two very evenly matched teams, I think.
Well, I think one region they've already proven that they are a lot better, although they had to come from behind in a second half output. But Linn-Mar of Marion definitely the team to beat in Region number 4. But Cedar Rapids Xavier always very capable out of there.
Yeah, never ever think that bet against Cedar Rapids Xavier, especially at tournament time. They're always so tough and always so well coached by Tom Lilly, and they've been down this road before. And again, the first time they played it was a pretty tight ball game, and like you said, Xavier had a lead against Linn-Mar in the second half. So this isn't a gimme by any stretch for Linn-Mar. I mean, obviously they'll be favored going into making it to state, but again, I think Xavier is always well coached, always well prepared, and they'll give them all they can handle.
In Region number 5, a team out far east that a lot of people don't know a lot about, but they have some pretty good talent, including Peyton Strasser out of Pleasant Valley, but Cedar Rapids, Washington, loaded with a lot of talent as always.
Yes, they have. Pleasant Valley was a state tournament qualifier last year and has to have just about everyone back from that squad from a year ago, and obviously they're the prohibitive favorite along with Davenport Assumption every year out of the MAC conference, and they're likely going to face a Cedar Rapids Washington team that seems to be playing very well right now. Has played Linn-Mar about as tough as anybody this year, and Frank Howell's got his team playing really well, and they're, I think, just getting better and better.
Well, Region 6, a couple familiar foes. They play each other a couple times during the season as well. Looks like a third meeting's imminent, and that'll be Dowling Catholic and Ankeny. And Ankeny won the first meeting, so Dowling still has some things to prove. And Ankeny probably the favorite there, but you never know about Dowling Catholic.
And it seems like historically when it comes to postseason, these teams have always played well. It's always been really good ball games when they've had to play in the postseason. So, obviously two teams filled with tradition in the CIML and Dowling and Ankeny. both teams obviously very well coached, and Ankeny obviously would be the prohibitive favorite in this case. But again, you can't discount what Dowling Catholic has done this year, and another solid ball club. But again, I think Ankeny will be the team to beat in Region 6.
As we continue to look at the regional pairings in Class 4A, we're now to Region 7 and 8. In Region 7, interesting there, you have the Bulldogs of Bettendorf, always tough, but you have the youth movement. You just never know sometimes about the youth once the postseason comes, but Iowa City West, young but very, very talented.
Very talented, very young. Like you said, I think they're another one of those teams that they're going to be one of the be a preseason top 5 next year in 4A, and again, a team that's probably played a little bit better than maybe expected. Their one loss is again to I believe it's to Linn-Mar, if I remember right, and against the Bettendorf, probably playing against the Bettendorf squad, although it won't be a gimme against Muscatine or Davenport West. But again, Bettendorf's a team that reached the regional finals a year ago as well, falling to Linn-Mar, and again, another squad that's well coached. But again, you have to look at the women of Troy as heavy favorites in Region 7.
And finally, in Region 8, my alma mater, ranked number 1, and all the rankings as before the season started, and so far they've held serve. The Scarlets of Des Moines East, but Lewis Central of Council Bluffs, so playing pretty good basketball. Of course, they don't play the powers of 4A, so underestimate them, but they have a nice player in the Simmons young lady.
Absolutely, and Lewis Central, I mean, I suppose that they don't play really a 4A schedule all year long, but the team, the teams that they play, they beat. They've had some, they've beaten the Denison, some good Denison Schleswig team, a good Glenwood team, and they've had some good battles with Harlan as well. So those are three teams three solid teams they play year in and year out, and when they play the Council Bluffs, they usually handle the 4A Council Bluffs teams. Des Moines East obviously is a heavy favorite here. This is what they've been building for the last two or 3 years, and came awfully close last year. And I know they're on a mission, and those girls they've got state championship in their sights. There's no question about that.
Well, Jason, that's Class 4A. Over the next few weeks, we'll continue on. Next week, we'll move over to Class 3A. And the following weeks, finish up with Classes 2A and 1A. We appreciate that, and I know it's a lot of work. It's going to be fun. That's one thing. It's going to be a fun basketball season, some outstanding talent out there.
Yes, and I understand you're going to Cedar Rapids tomorrow. Is that correct?
I will be in Cedar Rapids.
I jumped the gun last week talking about it, but boy, there's going to be some great matchups tomorrow at the USL Center for that rivalry Saturday. I think there's 7 ranked teams there, and obviously the showcase is Linn-Mar versus Ballard, and the two top-ranked or the second-ranked team in 4A and the first top-ranked team in 3A, and obviously two of the best players, at least in the 5-player we've ever had come down the pike, in Taylor Greenfield from Ballard, and of course Kia Stokes from Linn-Mar. I think Taylor might. I think you look for Linn-Mar to be a favorite in that game, but I think it's going to be an outstanding ball game. There's no question about it. And some other good matchups: Iowa City, Regina, and Solon. Cedar Rapids, Washington against a very good Central DeWitt team in 3A. Mount Vernon and Williamsburg, 2 3A powerhouses too. So and I know it's if I remember right, I think it's $6 to get in, Tony, and I think they're giving $1 of that is going to those proceeds are going to Mercy Hospital in Cedar Rapids.
Hey, wait a minute. Tony asked me for $25 for admission expense.
Well, you got it takes gas now. It's $3 to get to drive. It just gets more expensive the further east you go, Mike.
No.
So
He said $25 admission, boss. Can he handle that for me? I said, okay.
Concessions.
Oh.
That's where they get you, Mike.
All right. One last thing. What day should I have the hot coffee and the milk ready for the treats you're bringing over?
You give me a call. I will bring them. I promise.
Yeah. All right, Jason. Thanks for taking time.
All right. Have a nice weekend, guys.
Take care, Jason.
Eslinger from the Girls Union.
By the way, the pairings are all posted at iowasportsconnection.com for the girls. So if you want to take a look at it, iowasportsconnection.com.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back on Friday Night Live.